You want a shot at $50,000 in cold, hard cash? Well, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports comp, the NFL Survivor. And the total prize pool, a massive $100,000. First place gets 50 grand, straight up. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks?
Join now at bullrush.com/ESPN.
You want a shot at $50,000 in cold, hard cash? Well, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports comp, the NFL Survivor. And the total prize pool, a massive $100,000. First place gets 50 grand, straight up. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks?
Join now at bullrush.com/ESPN.
You want a shot at $50,000 in cold, hard cash? Well, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports comp, the NFL Survivor. And the total prize pool, a massive $100,000. First place gets 50 grand, straight up. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks?
Join now at bullrush.com/ESPN.
You want a shot at $50,000 in cold, hard cash? Well, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports comp, the NFL Survivor. And the total prize pool, a massive $100,000. First place gets 50 grand, straight up. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks?
Join now at bullrush.com/ESPN.
In next 5 years, 15 home games exclusively versus non-power teams. Twice IU plays Indiana State's Sycamores. Apparently Bishop Sycamore High wasn't available. So they come under some scrutiny, and I just wanted to touch on this here at the top because I get what Curt Cignetti is doing, and I'm not trying to be an Indiana apologist when it comes to all of this, but you had UVA on the schedule. You had them in 27 and 28. One of them would be at Indiana. One of them would be here in Charlottesville, and Indiana is now paying them $500,000 for canceling the series, according to reports from On3. And instead of playing Virginia in a home-and-home over 27 and 28, they've added home games with Kennesaw State, Austin Peay, and then Eastern Illinois in 2029. But this is kind of the way, unfortunately, we've seen men's basketball do this. This is kind of the way that scheduling seems to be going at the Power 4 level, especially as the Big Ten has now pulled away from their 4+4+2+2+1 model for the college football playoff. The Big Ten is a little upset that the SEC has more non-conference games, which then in theory allows teams to have an easier schedule, where the Big Ten, if I'm not mistaken, plays 9 conference games and the SEC plays 8. And so I think there's been an edict from the Big Ten office telling their teams outwardly, hey, find as easy of a schedule as you can for your 3 non-conference games every year, because you're playing one more conference opponent than the SEC is, the Big 12 is, and the ACC is. And so I think Curt Cignetti's just being a little bit more outwardly obvious about it. But I imagine over the next, 6 months, 7 months, you'll probably see more and more Big Ten schools start doing the work on the fringes to make their non-conference schedules a little bit easier, more home games, more power, group of 5 teams, more FCS teams, to allow them to have a little bit more leeway going into their 9-game conference schedule. It was just such a aggressive tweet from Brett McMurphy this morning, calling it garbage, and then saying apparently Bishop Sycamore High wasn't available. Brett knows that wasn't a high school. That was not a high school. All right, so here at UVA, fits the bill on the road. There's a lot of high hopes here around Virginia. And no, not the state itself, around Virginia, the University of Virginia. They're probably the highest hopes.
Dolphin Dave is on.
For sure in the Tony Elliott era.
Dolphin Dave.
But I mean, Alan, have you felt this high of hopes going into a UVA season? I mean, Tony Elliott for sure. There were some high moments with Bronco Mendenhall when he was here, culminating in them doing very well in 2019, capping it off with an Orange Bowl appearance. But it feels like there is a hope, there is an expectation of good things coming for UVA that I have not felt around this program in quite some time.
Yeah, I haven't. I can't remember the last time there was expectations of a bowl appearance by UVA, and like it's pretty consistent. Like people are expecting based on their schedule that they'll reach a bowl game. And then there's also a lot of optimism at the quarterback position, and a lot of optimism that UVA has closed the gap in the trenches this year, which is something we haven't heard in quite some time.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why there's these high hopes. So last night I was kind of thinking of there are some big expectations here in Charlottesville, but why are they there? And I listed out a couple of things. One, they brought in Chandler Morris. One, they seem to be more engaged with their donor base, especially with their donor base's pocketbooks. And because of those two things, they've brought in 32 transfers. It's ranked as the fourth best transfer class in the ACC. And then, oh, by the way, like you said, they got, what are they? They got the largest offensive line, the largest defensive line that they've ever had in the Tony Elliott era. I mean, there are some high expectations with UVA. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Dolphin Dave is out there on line one. Good morning, Dolphin Dave. How are we doing?
Hey, good morning, Jack. You kind of answered my question for me. And the reason is the fact that maybe you can explain this to me. I don't know basketball strength of schedule matter. So maybe the idea is strength of schedule does not matter as much as record as far as getting into the playoffs and going far in the playoffs. The reason is I didn't understand Indiana canceling and paying $500,000 to cancel UVA. UVA wasn't that good. Maybe they can get better. But I just was wondering if those plays that big beat UVA, does that not look better than beating Kennesaw State?
I think beating UVA would look better than beating Kennesaw State in the case of Indiana, but strength of schedule, they say it matters in basketball. I think it matters, to a point. And the same goes for football. What they're looking at first is how many wins do you have? If you're an undefeated team, if you're a team with one loss from a power conference, you're making it into the college football playoff, regardless of who your 3 or 4 non-conference games were. And like they look at overall strength of schedule, and we focus so much on the non-conference side of it because that's what they directly control. But when you look at an entire Big Ten team, what their strength of schedule is, typically it's in the top quarter of the nation because of them playing 9 Big Ten schools week in and week out. So the thinking is, all right, we're going to have the easiest non-conference we possibly can have with those 3 games that are open for us, because those 9 games that we play against our conference are going to beat us up and prop up our strength of schedule number.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Okay, now that's you explain things so well. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Dolphin Dave. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. And I love it when Dolphin Dave compliments me. It always feels good.
I don't feel like you explain anything well personally, but maybe it's because I'm the producer.
I think it's because we disagree on a lot of things. And you're mad that I explained it in the correct way, and I'm normally right.
Well,
So.
we can agree when you use statistics and information to back what I'm already thinking. We can agree.
Oh, man, just wait for when football games kick off, the amount of nerd stats I'm going to have. Oh, you're going to be tired of it by week 2.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to be citing expected points added way too much. I love expected points added. It's the best stat.
I'm waiting for that kind of stuff to dive deeper into college football. We get a lot of that professionally. It's coming along. Like, think about it. We talk about analytics all the time in professional football now. Everything's analytics. They're going for analytics. In college football, you're going for it because you're Mike Leach and you're just crazy like that.
Look, the stats are there. You're just not looking in the right place. I got a couple. I'll share with you a couple of websites that I use because there's this one called Game on Paper, and it's got every single advanced stat you need: EPA, success rate, ADOT, everything, and it dives deep into it. Now, PFF's also for college, so you can get the PFF numbers too for college games. So if you look in the right spots, you can get the advanced, you can get the nerd numbers. But yeah, I mean, you're right, where the analytics aren't as prevalent, at least when it comes to going for it on 4th down or going for it for 2 or things like that, aren't as prevalent in college football yet. Feels like a lot of college football when it comes to decision making is like vibes. It feels like we should go for it on 4th down here, so we're going to go for it. That's what I think. That feels like what it is like 95% of the time in college.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think this year, in relation to UVA, I would like to see them be more aggressive and putting the ball in the end zone, especially when we've got this bigger offensive line. We've got a quarterback that's talented. I know a lot of people look at levels when it comes to quarterbacks in college, and they'll say, "Oh, he played at this level. Can he do it at the FBS? Can he do it in this conference, etc." I mean, the evaluation of the position is still the same. Can you make the throw? And I think he can make the throws. Tony Elliott has worked with some talented quarterbacks at his previous location, Clemson. Hasn't quite had that kind of talent at UVA to work with, but I think he's got a little bit out of some of these guys that people would have written off. So I'm excited to see what he can do with somebody where there's a little higher expectations this year.
Well, and I think that is why there are such high expectations and high hopes. I keep wanting to say hope because I don't know if it's necessarily high expectations from the fans. I think they're expecting a bowl game out of this team, but there are higher hopes than just a bowl game kind of swirling around Charlottesville when it comes to it. Because Chandler Morris is the quarterback, he had a 63% completion percentage last year at North Texas, over 3,700 passing yards, led the nation with 400-yard performances, threw for 31 touchdowns, rushed for 4 more, and rushed for 242 yards. I mean, after bouncing around a little bit to start his career, Oklahoma, then TCU, really balled out at North Texas in his lone season there, and now has found his way to UVA. But not only was he prolific last year, the dude has experience starting at Oklahoma, a couple starts under his belt there. TCU in 2023, he started the first 6 games of the season for TCU. So he knows what it takes. That's I guess at the time it was Big 12 Oklahoma, Big 12 TCU, but then balls out in the AAC with North Texas, and now has found his way back to the Power 4 with the ACC. And he was one of the more prized quarterbacks out there in the transfer portal. And Virginia's able to go out there and land them. And I think that instantly raises your floor to a bowl. Like this team has the expectation of the bowl, paired with the fact that they have the easiest schedule in the ACC. That's also playing a major part of it. You're beginning your season, Coastal Carolina at NC State. That game at NC State is a non-conference game. So how much does it really, it matters. You want to win it, but if you lose it, it doesn't count against you in ACC play. Then you're William and Mary hosting them, hosting Stanford, and hosting Florida State on September 26th. In the months of August and September, you play one road game, and it's at NC State, and the rest of your home games should be wins. The only toss-up is Florida State, and Florida State's a massive question mark. They could be really good this year, but they're also coming off of a 2-10 season, brand new quarterback in Tommy Castellanos. And so there's a lot of questions around Mike Norvell's squad down there in Tallahassee, right? In Tallahassee. So there's a real shot where Virginia could open up the season 4-1, 5-0. They got off to an extremely hot start last year, kind of faded down the stretch, but last year they began the season with wins against Richmond, Wake Forest, Coastal Carolina, and Boston College. And then from there, they're only able to pick up one more win at Pitt. But that's another part of why there's so many expectations around this team and so much hope and hype. And then, oh, by the way, you brought in the 4th best transfer class in the ACC, according to 247 Sports. You brought in 32 transfers. You bolstered your offensive line, bolstered your defensive line, and the kind of creme de la creme, the cherry on top of it all, is Chandler Morris. Should be able to find some of these receivers like Andre Green, who's joining us, in hour number 2, like Jamal Erdine Jr. He's out there. Trell Harris Sr. I mean, there are some big time guys out there. Cam Ross is getting a lot of praise. The JMU transfer who played in the slot for James Madison last year. He's getting some praise. He's expected to be a dynamic return man for UVA too. Just what they brought in through the transfer portal plus first years gives a kind of a breath of fresh air and new blood into a program that I think needed it going into year 4 of Tony Elliott.
Yeah, and when you're breaking down the schedule for college football, you always got to look at situational stuff, like you talked about the Florida State game. They get them at home. That's great. You look at the game against the Hokies. That's a rivalry game. It could go either way, but you still get to be home there.
You're home for that, which is massive in the Commonwealth Cup.
You got NC State on the road, but sandwiched between in front and behind that is a game at home against Coastal Carolina, and a game at home against William & Mary. 2 programs that you should be able to get those wins. You don't have to necessarily have a look-ahead spot against a tough opponent like NC State at the level for Virginia. So all that said, you have to win. You have to win the games that you're supposed to win. if you can win the games that you're supposed to win, you're virtually guaranteed a bowl appearance. And for UVA, anything less than a bowl appearance this year is an unacceptable failure, which that comes with the expectations, right? Usually, 4 to 5 wins. I think last year the expected wins was about 4 or 5, and people would have been happy with that. Not this year, right? No, we were looking to go bowling, so you got to win the games you're supposed to win, and then take advantage of the schedule that honestly is very friendly for a program like UVA.
Yeah, and like they're an experienced team too. Not only do they return 7 starters on offense, 8 on defense, but then all of the transfers you brought in have a ton of experience at prior stops. And so they should be able to hit the ground running immediately. And you look at the UVA schedule too, none of the teams they play this season will be coming off of a bye. They will never be at a rest disadvantage. They may be at rest advantages throughout this season, playing Washington State on homecoming October 18th, coming off of a bye, playing Virginia Tech in the Commonwealth Cup off of a bye. So their schedule lines up really nice to pull off some upset wins, but then also get the necessary wins. Like, look, let's just be honest. Let's chalk it up. Coastal win, William and Mary win. There's 2 right there. Washington State, brand new everything. I'm going to say that's a win. Wake Forest is a win. And right there, you have 4 wins plus Stanford at home. Stanford and Wake Forest, 2 of the bottom feeder teams going into the ACC this season, at least according to the preseason poll. That's 5 expected wins. So now you just got to pull off one upset. Is it at NC State, at Louisville, at UNC, at Cal, at Duke, or Virginia Tech? That's a lot of opportunities to get that 6th win. And I was saying it on the show, UVA is a team to me that could be flirting with a top 5 finish in the ACC this year. I think they could be in the running for a pretty good bowl game if they stay healthy, if they live up to what these transfers can do and what the transfers did at their prior stops. I'm bullish on UVA this season. They may be, them and JMU might be the 2 better teams in the Commonwealth here in 2025.
I'm going to be selfish and hope they get to the Duke's Mayo Bowl because that's the closest one to me.
I mean, they're looking for their first bowl since the 2019 Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
They made the 2021 Fenway Bowl, but that one got canceled due to, I think, was it SMU who got COVID that one?
I think so.
I think it was something like that. But I mean, you're looking for your first bowl in this decade. Like, a lot riding on this season.
It is. Obviously taking a game at a time and just execute. Which are all the coach speak things, but that stuff matters. Like when you're a program that's looking to ascend. And for them, the level of ascension isn't going to be like college football playoffs. But this is a turning point, not only in Coach Elliott's tenure here at UVA, but a turning point for the program if they can establish a foundation of bowl eligibility and work from there. So I think I'm optimistic that they can get it done. There were moments last year where they looked like a team that was pretty good, and then there was moments again where it was like what was that last week and what is this week? So find consistency and just keep it simple. Don't overthink it. This is new pressure for these guys.
Yeah, it's the KISS method, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it dialed. You've got a good quarterback. Keep them protected. You've got the biggest trenches you've ever had on the O-line and the defensive line in terms of weight, in terms of like just overall size. Just keep things straightforward. If you can do that, I think you can find yourself in winning situations a lot more than you were in the past couple of seasons. It was a 3-7 first year for Elliott, 3-9 in 23, 5-7 last year, and they're looking to get at least 6 here in year 4.
And I do this a lot, but Aaron, in the little call back, I accidentally hung up on you. A lot of buttons pushing on this end, and I got it wrong. But we did have a call that wanted to talk to you directly about the state of Virginia football. So look forward to that.
All right, Aaron from Midlothian, give us a call back. We're going to take a break. We'll get you on air if you call back during this break. So give us a call back, 804-327-0888. Coming up in hour number 2, we'll be joined by Ethan Minter, a sophomore safety, played his high school ball at Thomas Dale. And at 9:30, Andre Green Jr., a senior wide receiver who played his high school ball at St. Christopher's, will be joining us as well. So stay with us. We've got a loaded show as Fitz the Bill on the road rolls right along on this Thursday morning.
Let me tell you about this new Fitz cheddar love. Hey, I'm Carlos. I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about Chick-fil-A Pretzel Club is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level. It goes perfectly with the chicken, cheddar cheese, and the bacon. Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Real, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with cherry berry Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Grown-ups, don't go back to school. Go forward through school into your future as an IT professional. Whether you're starting out, switching careers, or a veteran ready to change, My Computer Career can help you get into IT in just a few short months with no prior experience. So take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Your rewarding career in IT. That's mycomputercareer.edu. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer, and each offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote is giving you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials. Earlier on Friends.
Are we ready with the shot clock? Dylan in South Dakota, the shot clock is actually on.
This is for everything, right?
That's too bad. Dylan
and Friends, weekdays from 10 to Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
Weather reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, a premier Linux dealer, online at hermanallenplumbing.com.
106.1 ESPN weather.
It's currently 72 degrees and cloudy with a low today of 69 and 76. We're seeing overcast skies for the rest of the morning to the afternoon. The strong coming from the northeast, averaging about 9 miles per hour, with gusts up to 25 miles per hour. And high humidity today, ranking from 90 to 75%.
106.1 ESPN. Home sports reporter is Matt Joseph. Stop Virginia's hottest sports talk daily. That's got the takes you can't ignore. Fitz the Bill on the road.
If you ever can't catch for the next year, the red light, you got to race them.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on the road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm, as we are out here live at the UVA practice facility. And joining us in hour number 2, it's going to be Ethan Minter, a sophomore safety for the Cavaliers, and Andre Green Jr., a senior wide receiver for the Cavaliers. Minter played his high school ball at Thomas Dale. Green played his at St. Christopher's. So 2 804 guys that have found their way out here will be joining us in hour number 2 to chat, as will Eric Ward, the assistant AD for marketing, as UVA has changed a couple of things in their fan experience, their fan approach, their ticketing approach heading into the 2025 season. So he'll stop on by and chat with us at about 9:45 in hour number 2. And want to let you guys know that Fitz the Bill on the road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm. Schilling and Esposito personal injury attorneys. Check them out, schillingandesposito.com, or give them a call, 804-320-0950. Alan, you ready to do a little bit of news or snooze on this Thursday morning UVA edition?
Sure. Let's cue that up along with the many other things you got me doing. I feel like sometimes when we do this on the road, I feel like I'm doing more work than you.
Yeah, I love doing it on the road. This is fun for me. I just show up, I plug in a Comrex for a peek behind the curtain. I plug in a little thing that just connects to the internet, and I'm good to go. It takes me about 5 seconds. When we did the Richmond race, not to go on a complete tangent about this, The Richmond race, it was same with the ACC kickoff from where I was staying. It's closer to me than the studio is. And so for Richmond, I was able to sleep in a little bit longer. And for the ACC kickoff, I was able to sleep in a little bit longer because I could leave later.
You know what?
For this one, I couldn't. If it makes you feel better, I had to leave the house at 6 a.m. to get out here.
I'm going to cue it up. Just
So
because. What was me, Jack? News is news time. All right, it's the UVA edition of News or Snooze. Up number one, Cam Robinson expected to miss a few games with injury.
Yeah, so Cam Robinson, kind of the expected star linebacker for UVA headed into this season. He was all ACC last year, Athlon Sports preseason third team all ACC headed into this season. If you like Bruce Feldman's freak list for the Athletic, he was 51st on the freaks list. Pretty newsworthy that he was going to miss a couple of games. Yeah, because he's getting, according to Tony Elliott, getting his stitches out from a collarbone fracture that he suffered in the first day of pads. He's getting his stitches out from surgery, I believe, reported by Greg Medea later this week. Then he's going to be working, getting back into game shape and getting ready to go after all of that. Pretty big hit to the defense, losing their linebacker, losing the guy who'd be wearing the green dot for those first couple of games. I'd expect him to return maybe around game 3 or 4 this season. So you're not missing him for a huge chunk, but definitely missing him for that Coastal Carolina and NC State game. It is a bit of a blow to this defense. They've got enough starters back. Another 7 starters are returning outside of Cam Robinson, but he was kind of expected to take a big step forward. He had 71 tackles last year, the 6'2", 234 Essex high school product going into his junior year, and still expected to be a big-time contributor. And so losing him for the first couple of games, pretty dang newsworthy, man.
Yeah, I would agree, man, especially considering what the second topic is on this list. You got to have your linebackers healthy to kind of shore up. Honestly, linebackers make up for a lot of things, right? Deficiencies in your pass rush, deficiencies in your pass protection, right? And a guy like Cam, who's a great athlete, will definitely be missed no matter what.
Yeah, so if they can get him back before the Stanford game or at the Stanford game, I don't think it's too bad of a blow, because that means he just misses 3 non-conference games. But if you could get him back September 20th, so about a month from today, you then have him for all of your ACC schedule, opening it up with Stanford, Florida State, at Louisville. Then it's a bye week. So if he misses the first 3 weeks, not all that bad, but definitely newsworthy that he is expected to miss at least a couple of weeks to begin 2025. What's the next one?
All right, the next one, I kind of gave it away a little bit. Number 2, UVA in at corner ahead of the start of the season.
I'm going to say that's snoozeworthy for right now. Because this was reported by Greg Medea from the Daily Progress here in Charlottesville, that at the time of the team's first scrimmage, which was last Sunday, they were without a couple of guys. The Georgia State transfer corner, Jamarick Morris, he's going to be out all year with an ACL injury, but all of their other injuries were just kind of for a couple of weeks, and they expect to have them back in time for their August 30th kickoff against Coastal Carolina. Army transfer Donovan Platt, he was dressed but was in a limited role for the scrimmage last Sunday. Utah Georgia Tech transfer Keenan Johnson isn't expected to be cleared until next couple of days as well. But you got your freshman some run in the scrimmage. Josiah Persinger, who should be an absolute baller. He's out of Salem High School. Dukin is an absolute burner, an elite defensive back. His high school tape was really impressive. You got him some run. You got him some valuable reps. But, I mean, I highly doubt that any point in the season you're going to be hit with 4 injuries at one time. And if you are, yeah, it's going to test your depth. But for right now, you'd like to get these injuries out of the way now rather than later on in the season. So it's snoozeworthy. Looked a little thin, but I think they'll be able to weather that because they've got 4 or 5 guys up there.
Yeah, the cluster injuries is something nobody wants to see at any point of any sport, because there's only so much depth that you can roll out, especially at this level of football and with a program like UVA. You want to get your starters out there, but I agree with you. I wouldn't consider it that detrimental. They're not opening up with the most prolific offenses on their schedule either.
Hey, Tim Beck would like a word with you down at Coastal Carolina.
I was more of a
Chadwell guy.
Yeah, Chadwell guy than Tim Beck. Tim Beck and I have beef from his Ohio State tenure, so it's cool.
Tim Beck has not really been that successful at Coastal Carolina either, and not get on a whole Coastal Carolina side tangent, but they've got a huge question mark at quarterback. They lost Ethan Vasco, who was their starter the last couple of years, and now they're bringing in some Maryland transfer named MJ Morris Jr. So I have no idea what to expect out of the Chanticleers. And I don't have high hopes, so they will not be tested all that much in week one. Not to be a Coastal Carolina hater. All right, what's the next one?
Number 3, UVA has no players on ESPN's top 100 college football players.
Snoozeworthy. Although I do have a feeling that the coaching staff will likely use that as a motivational tool here in 2025. But the preseason list, I mean, as someone who talks about the preseason list and breaks down the preseason list, they really mean nothing. I will say, though, it is kind of insane that Cam Robinson not on that list, Chandler Morris not on that list, Andre Green he's on the freaks list. No, not Andre Green. Cam Robinson's on that freak list. Kind of insane they're not on the top 100. Kind of insane, but look, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't read into it too much. I mean, you know what the talent is on your team if you're the coach, or honestly, if you're fans, actually,
Yeah, and you know more as fans, and if you're a fan, sometimes you know more than the national media.
Yeah. So like these lists, especially for programs that are not on the main stage of things, sometimes they don't include the talent that they have. So it's irrelevant to me. I'm with you.
Yeah, but I know for a fact that will be used as a motivational tool at some point.
I told you, I mean, every game, man, somebody was talking about my mom. I don't even know if they know me, but they were talking about my mom. No. Like whatever you can get to motivate you, especially at that level. Of course,
that's what the great coaches do, right? Like I imagine Bill Belichick with the Patriots every year, they'd be talking about how it's us against the world. No one believes in us, and it's like, excuse me, you have indeed won the Super Bowl the last 2 years. Everyone believes in you. I don't know what you're talking about. It's impressive from coaches that are able to extract that type of mindset out of their football team.
Absolutely.
All right, let's get this last break in here. We'll step aside, be back to wrap up hour number 1 of Fitz the Bill on the road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm, right here on 106.1 ESPN.
Traffic reports on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, brought to you by Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating,
and did you see the text?
Premier Linux Dealer. Online at HermanAllenPlumbing.com.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't have
underground projects.
I forwarded it to you.
Before you do, hitting underground lines can cost you time and money and threaten public safety. Call 811.
No, what is
the law? Making you aware, keeping you safe. Richmond Gas Works Natural Gas Safety Awareness Program.
Hi, it's Steve Mann. Have you heard the commercials for the Mark Patrick Stop Smoking seminars? And they said only $49.99, and it could work for you. So I thought, this is even a week before smoke. So I went. Guess what? It did work for me. All my friends and family are still amazed. I quit smoke. I didn't have cravings, anxiety, or weight gain. Listen, I don't know how it works, but I know it works because I'm improved, and it's 100% guaranteed. What do you got to lose? Tell you what you got to lose. A very bad habit.
Join Mark Patrick seminars and stop smoking without cravings, irritability, or weight gain. Early bird special only $49.99 guaranteed. Don't just cut down. Let's stop smoking once and for all, or you'll be back. Seminar 8 p.m. on Thursday, August 21st at Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Ellen. Or 2 p.m. on Saturday, August 23rd at Hilton Garden in Colonial Heights. Registration 30 minutes before seminar. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com. Allianz Amphitheater in Riverfront. ESPN welcome. Simple and with Over Two. Free of Tuesday, August 26th. Tickets are on sale now. Gavin.com with Braxton Eden and Lee Gardner. Thursday, August 28th. Tickets are on sale now. House Union Station featuring Jerry Douglas. August 29th. Tickets are on sale. Tickets are available at livenation.com. Part of the Virginia Credit and Concerts here. Click on ESPNRichmond.com or Live Nation's conservation.
Popsicles, sprinklers, a cool breeze. Talk about refreshing. You know what else is refreshing summer? Upgrade a new phone with Verizon. Yep. Get a new phone on any plan with select phone trade-in and my plan. And lock down a low price for 3 years. On any plan, my plan. This is deal for everyone, whether you're a new or existing customer. Swing by Verizon today for our best phone deals. 3-year price guarantee applies and then current based on rate. Additional terms and conditions apply for all offers.
If you've started thinking about what to wear this fall, your timing is perfect because Macy's Fall Preview event has early deals everyone will be wearing. Romantic dresses from BC Beach and a Western inspired boots and bags from Steve Madden, all 25% off. Plus, take 15 to 25% off all beauty from Yves Saint Laurent, Estee Lauder, and Clinique. Don't wait. This fall preview won't be around long. So come into Macy's today. Save on regular and non-regular prices.
Wrap up your workday. Matt Josephs and Bob Live from 3 until 6 p.m. Live interviews, break news, and real talk about Richmond sports. Your business can be part of the conversation all the afternoon on 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports. Call 804-330-5700 or email ESPNRBA@SummitMediaCorp.com.
Stuck off the field, 106.1 ESPN got your back. Stream every day, score and highlight.
You got about 4 minutes.
ESPN app. Download today and stay in the game. Fitz the Bill. On the road. If you don't catch up with the right, you gotta race them.
Fitz the Bill on the road, rolling right along on this Thursday, August 21st morning. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick. Allen back in the studios at the capital of the Commonwealth. We are live out here at the UVA practice facility in Charlottesville, Virginia, as we are previewing all things Cavaliers heading into the 2025 season. Real quick, Allen, did you see that the 49ers got another injury?
I got to put myself in program one. No, I didn't. I don't really check my alerts that often when I'm on air. So it probably came through my phone. I missed it.
So Russell Gage is going to be out for at least a week.
I mean,
so another wide receiver down.
The last 3 years have been nothing but injuries.
You got to question the training staff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually okay with
full wide receiver core.
I'm actually okay with it being wide receivers and quarterback or tackle or running back.
That's true. At least you got Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey, and Purdy back.
Or middle linebacker or edge. If it costs us all our receivers, apparently we're a running team anyway, and Brock Purdy is the game manager, so we should be fine. We're not on the ball. So what's the big flaw?
Yeah, exactly. And look, Russell Gage, he only sprained his MCL. He's only going to be out 10 days. So that's fine. So Aaron from Midlothian wasn't able to call back, but was able to text us back, saying he's an old who pulling for him this season. Did say, hearing you describe the nomadic journey of the quarterback is depressing. He's on his 4th college team now. Can we all agree that's insane? How long until we stop? This is a long text. Wow. How long until we stop this transfer portal game of musical chairs every season? That guy may be all set to find his receivers on the field, but does he wake up trying to remember which school he's attending this season? How long until we get multi-year contracts in college football? So every season isn't an exercise in flash mobbing a team together by August. Until we have some more roster stability and continuity in college sports, we are literally living the old Seinfeld bit about rooting for logos and laundries, not the players themselves. I'd argue that we've always kind of been living the Seinfeld bit about rooting for logos and laundry while also rooting for the players that are there that season. And like for me, I'm all for the player empowerment era. Let them transfer as often as they want and do all of that. Like I just don't see the issue with it. Go where you want to go, where you can have success, and that's my take on it. Like, is it a little annoying that every year you may have a new quarterback? Yeah, but wasn't that already the case in college football? In the old days of it, you only had a player for 4, maybe 5 years if they got hurt, and then you did a whole new roster. So every year you were doing a roster turnover of about 50%, regardless of it. To me, this is just that a little bit more aggressively. And if it benefits the kids in terms of them being able to profit off of their name, image, and likeness, and go and continue to have success, I'm all for it. I don't think the nomadic journey of a college football player is all that depressing anymore. Like, it's, as a fan, do I want my players to stick around as long as possible? Yeah, but I also want to see the player go out and get the best possible return on themselves, because while also getting degree, that's important. Try to get the degree, but at the same time, like, it doesn't bother me all that much. I feel like I might be in the minority on that now, though, from just everyone that I've talked to. I feel like of fandoms, I may be in the minority of that.
I think it kind of has to go case by case a little here. In the case of Chandler Morris, if you look at like why he was transferring and things like that, he lost his starting job to a guy who eventually got TCU to the college football playoffs, right? And he kept getting hurt. Every time he was making strides to get back into a starting position, he got hurt. The transfer from Oklahoma, I mean, that happens all the time. Kids go to a school, they don't get to play at all, so they go to a spot that they think is a better opportunity for them to get reps. I think that's actually smart for any athlete. You want to get reps, right? And he did well at North Texas. Why not go to a school like UVA and put yourself in a position to get to the league, right? To get more notice, more notoriety. Yeah, he's played at Oklahoma and TCU, and then he went to North Texas. You had to know that was just a temporary stay.
Exactly. He showed that he was a Power 5, Power 4 type of talent. I also will say that I think we might be seeing contracts being more incorporated into college sports now, with revenue sharing, with everything like that. I think that is something that is coming. We're just living in the wild west of it all now. So embrace it. At least I as a fan of sport, I embrace it. And I'm excited to see what the rosters look like every year. The transfer portal time of the year is super, super fun, seeing where guys go and everything like that. So it's a thing. I get the frustration from a fan perspective. I understand it. But I do think that he's kind of got to just hope that things get fixed as time goes on. It'll never go back to where it was. Maybe contracts get involved, but probably for the future, every season you will have quite a bit of roster turnover, and it gives you a new chance every year. That's the fun part about it. You get a new opportunity each and every year. You don't have to wait for recruiting cycles. All right, coming up, hour number 2, we've got 2 UVA players joining us. Ethan Minter, sophomore safety, will be joining to kick us off in hour number 2, and Andre Green Jr., the senior wide receiver,
10 seconds,
joining us at about 9:30 as well. So stay with us. We'll be back with more Fitz the Bill on the Road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm.
This is Joe Simpson with the Atlanta Braves, and when I'm on my road trip to D.C. and Baltimore, I always tune in to 106.1 ESPN Richmond for all my sports news. They've got you covered.
Alright, I've gone through all the tracks, just move through the beats. Do you think?
Let's hear it for West Guy's own Victor, aka DJ.
Scratching my first student dance takes confidence. So getting into college, I've got what it takes. Okay, I went to practice session, I slept good, I feel
We will now begin the test. Please take out your pencils.
I got this.
Well, good at something. It may be breakdancing or skateboarding or video games. Whatever you get at, you bet the skills to make it happen. Those same skills will help us get to college. Visit knowhowtogo.org to learn what you should be doing right now to prepare for college. Start taking the steps at knowhowtogo.org.
I've got what it takes. So do you.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, the Foundation, and the Ad Council.
The countdown to kickoff is on. Here comes the Spiders, and then they've got quarterbacks in. Listen to Camden Bird, and running roll first to the outside, and he's a good way. He's going to go in from the spiker. Touchdown. Richmond ball is ready to run it back. Now in the lead. The season starts with a 8-3 showdown. Defending conference champions playoff team. At Lehigh, Saturday, August 30th, 11:30 noon. Kick. All the action all season long. The home of the Spiders. 106.1 ESPN.
Jack Fitzpatrick brings you insight to Richmond morning. From high school to college and the pros. He's got city covered. Sponsor mornings on 106.1 on ESPN Richmond. It's where the day begins and your brand gets noticed. Call 804-330-5700 or email ESPNRBA at SummitYaCorp.com. 106.1 ESPN Richmond, where Richmond talks sports.
From the Bull Rush ESPN studio, or at bullrush.com/ESPN, Lakeside Richmond, WHT Richmond, we are 106.1 ESPN. You're listening to the second hour of Fitz on 106.1 ESPN.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on the road, rolling right along. We are live from the UVA practice facility here in Charlottesville, Virginia, as the sun's starting to rise here. When we were in here at first, it was a little dark, but now I think the lights are starting to turn on a little bit. And we are joined now by Ethan Minter, sophomore safety for the Cavaliers heading into his sophomore season. Played your high school ball at Thomas Dale. One of the only freshmen last year to play, I think the only freshman to play every single game for UVA last season. Ethan, thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning, your off day, no practice, and chatting with us here on Fitz the Bill.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. I do want to jump into that. We were talking off air about it. You moved from quarterback at Thomas Dale to safety. You then play all of your games as a freshman. How did that transition work for you?
Honestly, it was a hard transition physically, for sure. Learning how to move like a DB. But mentally, I feel like with Coach Cox and Coach Rudd, they made it real easy to understand the defense, understand the scheme, and that's half the battle, knowing what's going on. So I feel like that made my transition a lot easier, and especially coming early in January, last January, having the spring ball to kind of acclimate to the new position really helped me.
How much weight did you have to put on going from quarterback, not only going from high school to college, but then also from quarterback to safety?
Last offseason, I gained around 20 pounds. So I haven't gained any more since then, but last offseason was a big transition for me physically.
So last year, you got all of those reps, those game reps. How much has that helped you this offseason now going into the 2025 year?
It definitely helped me a lot. I feel like any experience is good experience, especially as a young guy. So being able to get on the field early really helped me with just kind of understanding the game speed, understanding how things would go. And also having another spring in camp obviously helped me a lot too. So I feel like the experience helped me a lot for sure.
Now looking at 2025, how has the defense shaken out through camp? And now you guys have kind of closed the book on camp and starting the game prep now that classes have started and everything like that.
I feel like as a defense, we're miles beyond what we could have imagined. I feel like we got a lot of new guys, but we meshed really well, really quickly. We have a lot of depth, which I don't really feel like we have had last year. Like we've never had bodies like this. So I feel like we have a lot of guys that can just plug in and play, and we all kind of want each other to win. We want each other to have success, and we just want to win as a team. So I feel like we're at a really good spot defensively.
What's it like? Because as fans, as media, things like that, when it's transfer portal season, right, and you see all these guys deciding to come to your school, you're like, oh man, really? Him? Awesome. This is cool. As a player, when you're seeing those transfer portal commitments roll in, what are your reactions? Are you celebrating it like fans are, or are you kind of a little bit more nonchalant about it?
No, we're excited to get new guys in the program. Coach E has this culture that he's really instilled in us, and we brought in a lot of guys that kind of have that same mindset. And we just want to win, like I said. So to get any new guys that can help us do that, we're all excited for that.
One of the guys you lost after last season was Sanker, one of the top safeties at his position last year in the ACC. Was there anything you learned from him that you're going to try and take into your sophomore season?
I learned a lot from Jonas. Being in a room with him for a year was definitely a blessing. His knowledge of the game is very, very high, but obviously like his physical tools and being able to watch him and how he plays the game, how fast he plays it, and how free he plays it, and how fun he has playing the game has definitely helped me kind of take that same approach.
What's it like now as a sophomore, but you're year 2 in that room? Some of the guys in there, a lot of the guys in there are newer to the program. They may be more experienced collegiately, but not as experienced with UVA and the UVA culture. What's the process like acclimating them to what is expected here at UVA?
We got a lot of guys that came from winning programs that had a lot of success on their own or with their team. So they kind of knew what we wanted to do when they came in. It wasn't too big of a task to get them to buy into what we wanted to do because they just wanted to win as well. So I feel like the acclimatization wasn't really that hard, honestly. Like we all kind of have one goal in mind, so it was really easy to gel and mesh as a team.
Ethan Minter, sophomore safety for UVA, joining us on this Thursday morning live from UVA's practice facility. Ethan, it feels like, and we've been talking about it a lot on today's show and kind of throughout the offseason, there are a lot of high hopes around Virginia going into this season. Do you guys feel those expectations and those hopes from the fans and the media coming in on you?
Honestly, we have an internal mindset. Like we kind of just look at ourselves. We don't really pay attention to outside noise, but we have those expectations for ourselves. Like we've had a great offseason. We have a lot of new faces, a lot of good experienced guys came in. So the expectations that anyone from the outside has for us, I feel like we have even higher ones for ourselves.
One of the reasons I feel like the expectations are pretty high, you bring in Chandler Morris at quarterback in the transfer portal. He's coming off of a prolific 2024 season where he threw for over 3,700 yards, combined for, I think, 35 touchdowns between passing and rushing. You have a unique experience. You're on the defensive side trying to stop him from completing his passes. What's it been like going up against him and going up against the entire offense at the safety position this offseason?
He's a great quarterback. He's got a lot of experience. He's a veteran. So, I mean, he's very, very mobile. That's obviously not really fun as a defensive player, but he's a great decision maker. He's like I said, he's been around the block. He's got a lot of experience. So his decision making, his poise is really high. And he's really made us better throughout the spring and fall camp.
Do you ever go to him and be like, man, I was a 4-year starter at Thomas Dale. I can help you out with a thing here or there?
No, I couldn't give him too many tips, I'm sure.
Why did you decide to make the switch or I guess the coaches decide to switch you to safety? Was there another position you had in mind, or was it just kind of coaches put me where you want me?
Yeah, it was really coaches put me where you want me. Like I really fell in love with Coach E and his vision for this program. All the other coaches on the staff, I feel like that really is why I picked Virginia. So it really didn't matter to me which position they put me at. I just really wanted to play for Coach E and the staff.
So with all of that, I know you were also an all-region basketball player in high school. Was there ever a thought that you were going to go and do basketball? Were you recruited at all to play basketball?
No, I never had hoop dreams past high school.
It was high school only, and it was football from there.
Yeah, that's all.
Were you recruited by any schools to play quarterback, or was it always the intention to switch?
Quite a few group of 5 FCS schools recruited me for quarterback. And really, like I said, the decision was not because of a specific position. It was because of Coach E and his staff. So, I mean, I didn't really have a desire. I was kind of indifferent if I played quarterback or not in college. But, yeah, Coach E really just was the tilting point for me.
Ethan Minter, sophomore safety for UVA, joining us, played his high school ball at Thomas Dale on this Thursday morning. Ethan, what has that secondary been like this offseason? Practicing with them, kind of give us the description of how that room has played out this year.
If I could use one word, it would be fun. I mean, we have a lot of guys that want to play at a high level, but a lot of guys that want to communicate and they want to see each other succeed. So, I mean, like, we have a lot of transfers coming in, but we have a lot of guys that stayed as well. A lot of younger guys, some older guys. And we all kind of just came together, and we just have a lot of fun together on the field and off the field. We spent a lot of time together off the field, playing cards, watching movies and stuff. So I feel like it's just been fun.
Do you guys play the college football video game a lot together?
I don't get involved in that, but yeah, the guys do quite a bit. You see someone playing every day.
Is there like is there someone who has become the best college football video game player Is that known within the locker room?
No, there's no one that's been the best, but there's a few guys that are pretty known for being pretty bad. So
really, all right, you can. Who are?
No,
they?
I can't put them out there. I can't
man.
put them out there.
That would have been great radio, man. That would have been fit. We could have exposed them here live on ESPN Richmond on who the worst college football video game players are on UVA. But looking overall with this defense, how has the defense come together with the new guys, with the returners, and that melding them together?
I feel like I said earlier, like we all have one goal in mind. We just want to win. So I feel like that one goal of wanting to win has kind of brought us all together. We know what it takes. We've got a lot of guys with experience, both new and returning. So like we know what it takes. So just kind of all coming together and doing what needs to be done so that we can get to where we want to go. I feel like it's been real easy to gel together so that because we, like I said, we just want to win.
Ethan, last season it starts off 4-1 for you guys, and then the back end of the schedule gets a little tougher and things don't really go your way. Was there anything you learned from the second half of the 2024 schedule that you guys were able to learn from and then put towards 2025?
I feel like the second half of the schedule, I mean, we were in position to win a few of those games. So Coach E always talks about finishing strong. But I feel like just playing strong throughout all 4 quarters of the game. That's something we know, but we just have to put into play. And we've really emphasized finishing and straining this offseason. So I feel like we've definitely learned from last season.
When you say kind of play strong and finishing out strong, what does that exactly look like in your play on the field?
I think just taking the energy that we have to start the game through the fourth quarter, staying focused, kind of doing your 1/11th on offense, defense, special teams, and just not letting UVA beat UVA.
And kind of overall for this team, what are the expectations? We've talked about how they are higher. Is the expectation a bowl game and winning 6 games? Is the expectation competing for the ACC at the end of the year?
We have the one goal set in mind that we want to be champions. So I feel like we have really high expectations for ourselves, and we feel like we can live up to that if we put into practice everything that we did this offseason.
And Ethan, what are the expectations for yourself, looking introspectively? What do you want to see from yourself in your sophomore season here at UVA?
Honestly, I just want to have whatever role that needs be for this team to win. I feel like we can win 12 games. I feel like we have that expectation of ourselves. So I feel like just being whoever this team needs me to be. Obviously, you want to have an increased role from the year before, but whatever way this team needs for me to contribute for us to win is what I'm willing to do.
Awesome. Ethan, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the off day, the no practice and pads today. And good luck on August 30th against Coastal Carolina when the shot to clears come to town.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. We're going to get a quick break in here. Step aside. Be back with more Fitz the Bill right here on 106.1 ESPN.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
SelectQuote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Hey, this is Lisa Stokia. Heard the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis hype? Well, I attended because my father stopped smoking with hypnosis. Hypnosis eliminated my desire for soda and fast food, made me want to exercise, and I lost 60 pounds in 6 months. My energy level exploded. I went to another session to deal with some other problem foods, and I lost another 10 pounds. In fact, I brought my husband, and he lost weight, and his cholesterol and blood pressure improved. My friend lost 20 pounds her first 2 months.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick's seminar and lose the weight for Stop Smoking Guaranteed Early Bird Special $49.99. Hypnosis does not display unwanted cravings, late eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. Seminars Thursday, August 21st at the Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glenville. Weight loss seminar, 5:30. Stop smoking seminar, 8 p.m. And Saturday, August 23rd, to Garden in Colonial Heights. Weight loss seminar, 11 a.m. Stop smoking seminar, 2 p.m. Registration 30 minutes before or sign on at PatrickSeminar.com.
You guys are too is something wrong now?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks the anniversary or even a speeding ticket? Somehow your skincare.
Wow. With Snapshot from Progressive, you get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Snapshot from It's not available in California from all
If you've started thinking about what to wear this fall, your timing is perfect because Macy's Fall Preview event has early deals on what everyone will be wearing. Romantic dresses from BCBG and Avec Les Filles, Western-inspired boots and bags from Stevie Madden, all 25% off. Plus, take 15 to 25% off all beauty from Yves Saint Laurent, Estée Lauder, and Clinique. Don't wait, this Fall Preview won't be around for long, so come into Macy's today. Save the regular and already reduced prices. Exclusive live.
This is Freddie. Here's what I want the kid to do. I would love to see him play well. So you can just leave him alone. You got the offensive coordinator you want. They made pieces to put around you and brought those pieces in the free agency of the NFL draft. I believe in Caleb Williams. I would love to see him go out there and play well so he can continue to be the best quarterback he can be with an offense that is well suited for the gifts that he brings to the table.
Check out more from Freddie weekdays 8 Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN app.
Richmond football is on the way. Hey, this is Bob Black. Join former Spider players Jasmine Coleman and Chris Anderson. And Saturday, August 30th is Lehigh, a battle of defending league champs and nationally ranked teams. Airtime 11:30, kickoff of noon on the home of Spikes. 106.1 ESPN.
Fitz the Bill.
On the road. If you ever catch eyes with a guy in a red light, you got to race him.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on the road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm here from UVA as we get you set for the 2025 season for Virginia as they come into the year with a lot of expectations. Just chatted with Ethan Minter, sophomore safety for the Cavaliers, heading into his sophomore year. Played his high school ball at Thomas Dale. Really interesting insights from him. That move from quarterback to safety is so interesting. He was talking about the Tennessee safety did that as well. Jacob Thomas, a safety for JMU, he made that switch after being a multi-year starter in high school. And it's typically because in high school, they put the best athlete at quarterback. And then from there, you kind of figure it out when you go to college. But that got to give you an edge when you know how to read a defense from the quarterback position, then you set back in the safety spot. That's got to give you some sort of edge because you can kind of feel what the quarterback is reading before maybe even the quarterback knows what he's reading. So really, really great in conversation with Ethan. If you miss any of the conversations, you can find them up on the YouTube or at ESPNRichmond.com/podcasts as we will be putting everything up over there as well. I do want to go back to that text, Alan, because we were chatting a little bit about it in the break, just kind of thinking about it overall, where the part that kind of sits out, and I imagine Aaron from Midlothian being a little hyperbolic when he says that guy might be all set to find his receivers on the field, but does he wake up trying to remember which school he's attending this season? For me, I've been in multiple jobs since I have left college, right? I've been in my 6 years since graduating James Madison in 2019. I have worked for CBS Sports. I worked for a talent agency. I've worked for a sports book. I've worked now for ESPN Richmond and a couple other things sprinkled in there as well. Never have I ever woken up and thought, what job am I working this morning? Where do I drive to work? How do I get there again? And to me, like, student athletes aren't students anymore. They're athletes. They're doing this as a job. Is there a degree involved if they stay all 4 or 5 years? Yeah, there is. But if you think that they are a student first and they should treat it as such, That's just not the way it is anymore. And it really never has been that way. Whether it's been schools kind of forcing a certain major on their athletes, whether it's the fact that athletes in today's world wake up, go to practice, get treatment, go to class, do homework, come back, do more practice, do film, do prep, go to sleep, and do it all over again. There's not much time to be a student. And so they are athletes. This is a job. And just like how we all flip from job to job to job for the best possible opportunity to continue our growth upward, why shouldn't a student athlete be allowed that same privilege, that same opportunity? Sure. Is it weird when you see a guy play at Oklahoma, then TCU, then North Texas, then UVA, all since 2020? Yeah. But if I think about my career timeline since I graduated in 2019, I'm just about on the same track as Chandler Morris is. And I'm allowed to do that because it's my career. For a lot of these guys, this is their career. They're going to try and make football work. They're going to play it for 4 years, cash in as much as they can, and then use the connections, the opportunity, and the networking that their schools provide to try and either continue a professional career, whether it's in the NFL, the UFL, the Arena Football League, whatever it may be, for a couple of years. And then from there, go into whatever their passion is, whatever their career is, whatever they want it to be. And that's what it's about. Like, am I being too not like romantic about all of this? Am I being too like not as set in stone about student athletes? To me, it just doesn't matter as much.
Yeah. As a former student athlete, I didn't even do Division I college football rotation. I was just track and field at VCU. It was hard for me as a student athlete to be a student a lot of times. I can only imagine what it was like for like the basketball players, and I can only imagine what it's like for somebody at some of these bigger, more machine and football oriented programs, right? I think at this point we have to accept that the idea of student athlete has passed. Like you said, they're just athletes. And at the end of the day, I don't think it's hurting anything other than maybe the program itself. It does make the coach's job difficult, but as far as like an athlete, like you're in the best position possible. You can go where you can get the most money. You can go where you can get the most playing time. And if it doesn't work out, guess what? You can do it a complete do-over. With the season. Sometimes not even in the season. You can be a bit quicker than that.
Like, and then you're in it to go to the place where, and you can pick whatever you want. If you want the most money, there's a school out there that'll give it to you. The most playing time, there's a school out there that'll do it for you. The most love, the most feels like home, which is the classic quote you get when you ask a kid, why'd you choose this school? And their answer is, it felt like home. You can get a place that fits that for you too. Where I do agree with Aaron from Midlothian, because I do think this is the future, and I think it is something that needs to be incorporated into it all, is contracts. I think there should be contracts starting to get involved with revenue sharing, with everything like that. I do believe, and whether it's you then classify them as a W-2 or 1099, or maybe they create something completely new for it, that's a whole other conversation. But I think there should be contracts involved where you decide to come here 2 years, boom, bam. Then you can either re-up for another 2 years, or then you decide to move on. I do think that is a valid thing. But you're seeing it now, kind of using the transfer portal. It's benefiting the group of five and the FCS schools that are leaning into it, because the schools that are leaning into it are getting top-end talent from the FCS levels, from the Division II levels, and they're saying, come here, play here for a year, play here for 2 years if you have 3 years of eligibility left. Then you'll go get a massive payday at the next stop. And I think the schools that lean into it that way are going to find the most success. And I think that's what you're starting to see across the successful group of five and FCS schools as well.
I agree. And everybody, we go through this, every like 3 to 4 months. Like change makes people uncomfortable. We're almost over the horizon.
Yeah, we're almost through the change.
We're almost through it where it's about to be the norm, and then we can make the necessary changes and things like that. I agree with them on the idea that the stability issues need to be figured out. But in the same breath, I don't think like Ohio State and LSU, Bama, Georgia, the elite schools, Oregon, I don't think it really matters to them. I think we're looking at some of these issues from the side of the ones who are the have-nots, right? The haves don't really have any issue with how things are going right now. They don't have any issue with the money. I think Kirby Smart was the latest top tier coach. Maybe whisper something about it, but it was more like tongue in cheek, like he was just going through it, just to say it, right? So I think NCAA or whatever the college committee is going to be, the oversight committee, does need to take a look into the structure. If they want to keep it to where there's no competitive advantage, right? Where people can just open up a blank check and people got their own money. Can do whatever they want. I think that needs to be evaluated.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, it's not like people always talk about ruining the sport, everything like that. You look over the years since 2000. I'm trying to see the last time we had a repeat champion, and we haven't had a repeat champion since 2011 and then 2012. Since then, it has been a new guy every single year. Now, have the same one won a couple of times? Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think they're making a whole lot of something out of nothing. All right, let's get a break in here. We'll step aside, be back. Andre Green Jr. will be joining us, a senior wide receiver for UVA right here as Fitz the Bill on the road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm. Rolls right along.
Progressive knows you are not 37.
You guys are so sweet.
Sure. Dewy skin.
Something wrong?
Somehow tonight's all about your skincare.
Wow. With snapshots from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
If you started thinking about what to wear this fall, your timing is perfect. Because Macy's Fall Preview event has early deals everyone will be wearing. Romantic dresses from BCBG and Yvette Lee, Western inspired boots and bags from Steve Madden, all 25% off. Plus, take 25% off all beauty from Yves Saint Laurent, Estee Lauder, and Hublot. Don't wait. This fall preview won't be around long. So come to Macy's today. They can regular already reduced prices. Exclusive apply.
Looking for the perfect golf course? Check out RBC's best kept secret, Greenfield Golf Club, just a few minutes past Mechanicsville. Reserve your tee time today at greenfieldgolf.com.
Progressive knows you are not great validation.
You guys are so sweet.
Sure. Dewy skin.
Is something wrong?
Why would you ask? Just because today marks my 10th anniversary of a car accident or even a speeding ticket? But somehow tonight, all about your skincare.
Wow. With snapshots from Progressive, you can get a personalized rate based on how you drive. And that's all the validation you need. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in California.
If you started thinking about what to wear this fall, your timing is perfect. Because Macy's Fall Preview event has early deals everyone will be wearing. Romantic dresses from BCBG and Yvette Lee, Western inspired boots and bags from Steve Madden, all 25% off. Plus, take 25% off all beauty from Yves Saint Laurent, Estee Lauder, and Hublot. Don't wait. This fall preview won't be around long. So come to Macy's today. They can regular and already reduced prices. Exclusive apply.
Have you failed the DMV written test 3 times? DTW Driving will help you. And it's easy for $99. You can take the DTW Driving School DMV approved course online. And you even save $10 by using a DTW Driving School online coupon. What's even better is you can take the course at your convenience. Get details at DTWDrivingSchool.org. That's DTWDrivingSchool.org. Register today. And DTW Driving School will get you back on track.
My brother-in-law died suddenly. Now my sister and kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called Select Quote. Select Quote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, Select Quote could save you more than 50% on term and life insurance.
For your free quote, call Select Quote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
Quote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Order to Order with Matt Joseph on 106.1 ESPN.
Your daily 3 to 4 p.m. pit stop for unfiltered sports takes, statewide debate, and no holds barred analysis.
Richmond's game at Slane. Don't miss it.
Fitz the Bill.
On the road.
If you ever get a chance for the first night at a red light, you get a race.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill rolling right along. Fitz the Bill on the road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm, as we are out at the UVA practice facility in Charlottesville, Virginia. We took a nice little trip down 64 West to come out here this morning and chatted with Ethan Minter, a sophomore safety for UVA. And now we are joined now by Andre Green Jr., a senior wide receiver for UVA, heading into year 2 with the Cavaliers after transferring in from UNC. Andre, thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning, your off day, to chat here with us.
Man, thank you for having me. It's a blessing to be here.
Yeah, of course. I just want to jump right on into it. Year 2 with UVA. What's different from this offseason compared to last offseason after you had transferred in?
Man, a lot. I got time to really get my feet settled in. I got a chance to really know a lot of the guys and just really be intentional about just everything this second off season. It's year 4 for me. So just got a chance to, I've been around, the seasons, the off seasons, and just, like I said, the intentionality just behind the off season, the season, fall camp, spring ball. And I just think it's been some of my better outputs of just training, things like that.
I'd love to rewind to last offseason a little bit, because coming out of St. Christopher's, you were one of the top prospects in Virginia. You find your way to UNC. That recruiting experience compared to the transfer portal recruiting experience, can you kind of compare, contrast what those two experiences were like for you?
The coaches call it almost like speed dating, because you leave and you have maybe about 3 or 4 weeks or maybe 2 to 3 weeks to make a decision. Versus in high school, you get maybe 2 or 3 years to just find out where you want to go. But I think I made the best decision coming to UVA from UNC. It was a tough transition at first, just because here it's so hard, because they put us through a lot of tough scenarios to help us build character and just mental resilience and mental toughness. And but man, I'm so glad that I'm here. And last offseason, I found out a lot about myself and got better in all aspects of life.
Andre Green Jr. joining us here on this Thursday morning. You got a new quarterback now this year. You got Chandler Morris coming off of a fantastic 2024 at North Texas. What's it like catching balls from him this offseason?
Man, it's just having a great quarterback to just make sure your life easier. Just sometimes, you can be winning, but a quarterback can throw you open. So say if someone's on top of me, you can throw me back shoulder. If someone's on the bottom of me, you can throw me over the shoulder. So just having a great quarterback just makes your job so much easier. And I feel like we have a great depth in the quarterback room.
What has he brought, Chandler Morris, to the team overall coming in from North Texas?
Just leadership. He's played football for a long time. Leadership. He has a swagger to him. And I just think, he's a great quarterback, great guy on and off the field, and just someone that I try to learn from.
Kind of taking a look at your entire wide receiver room as well. What has that room been like this offseason? How has it grown this offseason?
Man, this is the best receiver room I've ever been a part of. And like I said, we all play so different, but we all just take bits and pieces from each other's game. So I try to take bits and pieces from Trail, Jamal, JT, Cam Ross, every guy we have, and I think we just have a lot of depth at the receiver room. We had a lot of pieces. We got size, speed, everything you can think of. So like I said, I just try to learn as much as I can from everyone.
Cam Ross has been getting a lot of kind of off-season little buzz about him. The transfer comes in from JMU, goes over the mountain. What has Cam brought to your receiver room? And I know in the return game as well, what has he brought to this overall team?
Another old guy,
you guys are a pretty experienced team, that's for sure.
So yeah, a lot of experience. He's a great guy on and off the field. I hang out a lot with Cam, not just when we play football, but just off the field. Like I said, just experience. Like I said, he's been around the ropes a few times, and like I said, just he has so much experience. Him along with like I said, Trell, my roommate, Jamal, and Cam is really fast. You know, he can get in and out of his break, and he's definitely can be dynamic in, you know, the special teams aspect.
So you guys have a lot of experienced guys, and a lot of those experienced guys came in through the transfer portal after having their first 3 or 4 years of their collegiate career at another place. What's it been like kind of bringing together the 32 transfers you've brought in, plus I think another 20 some odd first years, all of those new faces, the new personalities? What's it been like bringing them into the locker room here in 2025?
Man, it's been great. I feel like UVA has done a great job helping everybody fit in, finding the right guys to fit this culture. And Coach Elliott has been really, really intentional about just all of us spending time together, you know, whether it's during camp and him just, you know, making meals mandatory and making us fellowshipping mandatory. It's like I said, and he encouraged us to, you know, try to not sit with just the receivers, like who you would just normally sit with. Just try to sit with the O-linemen. And the O-linemen are really funny. Like, and I wouldn't have known that in previous years because, you know, like I said, you kind of just hang out with your friends and like the receivers, but I got a chance to really like sit with the O-linemen, you know, some of the linebackers, and a really funny team. Just really, really great guys. And I just love how intentional UVA this year has been with just, you know, fellowship and just bringing everybody together, spending time and eating.
All right, you open this up. Who's the funniest offensive lineman out there?
Tashawn Wyatt.
Really?
Yes, sir.
What is it about him?
Man, he's just hilarious. Like he went to JMU, and one of my other friends from St. Christopher, Trent Hendrick, was also there with him, and like they kind of had like the same humor, just like they don't even mean to be funny.
Yeah, I caught up with Trent the other week. I was over at JMU for their media day, and we chatted about his St. Christopher experience. And you played your high school ball at St. Chris. How did that prepare you for your collegiate career?
It definitely prepared me. Like in with St. Chris, it didn't just prepare me for football. It prepared me for, you know, just life in school. And that's one of the experiences I'm so grateful that I got to experience. You know, being a different dynamic, being a different culture for 4 years, and so I really love my experience there at St. Christopher's. Met a lot of guys that play sports. I got a couple of guys here with me now that played on St. Chris. And so, yeah, I'm just really grateful for that experience.
I mean, you got Tyshawn White, another 804 guy. We were talking with Ethan, another 804 guy. You're an 804 guy. Bunch of others on this roster. Is the 804 better than the 757?
I mean, we need to have a couple more 7-on-7s against them, 11-on-11s. But, I mean, honestly, I really don't keep up with the 757, especially now with just, you know, life as a student athlete, really just focus on, like, you know, just everything that I can control. And that's just like UVA football. And but I think we got some good guys in the 804 though.
That was a very nice way of putting that. I'll say it for you. I think 804 better than 757. I think the 804 a little bit disrespected with what they've been putting out, but that's just me, the radio host on this side. I won't speak for you, Andre. I want to know, with this offense this year, what is it looking like? How is it different from last year's offense?
Just the depth. Like we have a lot of guys at every single position, offense, defense, special teams, and like just the depth we have a ton of receivers. We brought in a lot of guys, a ton of running backs. And I just think, you know, with football being such a violent sport, you know, unfortunately guys are going to go down. And I just feel like it'll be no drop off. Like, and it's like, you know, we got 3 groups and I feel like everybody can be a 1 depending on, you know, where they're at. So I just think, like I said, the depth is just huge this year.
You mentioned depth. I was talking with Ethan earlier. He mentioned depth too, and you kind of touched on it with football being such a violent sport that you're going to suffer some injuries. There's going to be guys missing a game here, a game there. So the depth is important. But how is it with that depth in the locker room when you know that the guy behind you, does it kind of add a little bit of competition to you as well?
Honestly, it should always be competition. Like, I mean, even in prior years, like, I mean, of course we have a lot more depth, but like I try to always have a competition with myself. Like, of course, I'm competing with the man next to me, but like, I feel like comparison is a thief of joy. So like with me, I try to just, you know, be better than I was yesterday and just continue to stack those days and just continue to get better each and every day and just finding one thing to get better at, whether it's, and that's just me having something and just trying to get 1% better each day.
So there's a lot of talk around UVA coming into this season with the 32 new transfers, with Chandler Morris, some higher hopes, I think, than past years, higher expectations. Do you guys feel that in the locker room, those expectations from the outside, or is it all about what's inside that locker room?
Man, it's all about what's inside. And Coach Elliott hones in on that, on just, just trying to be process driven instead of outcome driven. And like I said, this has been a long fall camp, 21, 22 days of just football and just fellowshipping with the guys. And I know me personally, I don't really even know what goes on outside of like the world. Like all I know is just, ball. These last 21 days, I haven't heard much of, any media, and just trying to stay true to the process. And like I said, just get better each day and, just enjoy the company of my teammates.
So now we flip the page from camp. You just finished that up a couple of days ago. And now we look ahead. Coastal Carolina is 9 days away, the season kickoff. How is preparation going for that? What will the next 9 days look like for you as a player getting ready for the Chanticleers?
For me, like I said, man, it doesn't matter who we play, whether we play Coastal or anybody else. I know my preparation going to be the same. I know these last 2 days have been a little bit more different. I know, like, towards the end of practice of camp, we've been, prepping for Coastal. But like I said, I'm going to do the same thing no matter who we play. I'm going to do the same rehab. Going to do the same. We probably going to have the same practice structure. And it probably will be a little bit more time predicated to like each team watching film in terms of that regard. But yeah, I'm excited.
What do you think this offense is going to be like this year in 2025?
I think we're going to have a really, really fun, really dynamic team. Like I said, offense, defense, even special teams. Because like I said, it's offense and defense, that should be the top. But like special teams is big here. So just going to try to impact the game as much as I can.
Is there a guy that we haven't really been talking about that you think is going to have a breakout year for UVA?
You mentioned Cam Ross. I think he's going to have a great year. But honestly, you just never know. Like, I think we got a really good team. I think we're all subject to have really good years, but it's honestly just about taking advantage of the opportunity when it presents itself.
And you give an interesting perspective because you're going up against this secondary in ways that no one else is because you're running the routes against them. How has that secondary been through camp and now as you guys get ready for Coastal? How's it been going up against that secondary?
Oh, it's been good. Like I said, we got a lot of new DBs, a lot of new guys in general. We got a lot of new DBs in, the spring or what they say, the summer. We got some long guys out there, and we're just all competing with each other. I'm trying to get them better. They're trying to get me better. And like I said, we're just trying to dominate each other because, us doing that will only help each one of us get better.
And last question here. When you go out in that first game of the season against Coastal Carolina, you said that was where you got your first start at UVA last year too. But what do you hope to see from yourself in game one of this season?
Just, like I said, just trying to have a better outing. I feel like last year, it was a little different. First time being in the offense, just now starting to understand the playbook. And just now, like I'm a year in, I've matured a lot. I've understand the game a lot more. The game's starting to slow down for me. And I just feel like this offseason, this spring ball, this fall camp, I've gotten a lot better. So honestly, just want to, just take advantage of any opportunity that's given to me and, just maximize all every time I'm out there.
Awesome. I love it. Andre, thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning chatting with us. Good luck this season. Good luck against Coastal in 9 days.
Man, thank you for having me.
Of course. We're going to take a quick break. Be back with more Fitz the Bill on the road right here on 106.1 ESPN.
Call Herman Allen Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling at 804-746-5853 today to learn more about their award-winning leaded product offerings.
Join Patrick seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking early bird special, $49.99. Seminars Thursday, August 21st. Comfort Suites at Virginia Center Commons, Glen Allen. Weight loss 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking 8 p.m. Or Saturday, August 23rd, Hilton Garden Inn, Colonial Heights. Weight loss 11 a.m. Stop smoking 2 p.m.
My brother-in-law died suddenly. Now my
Hey, this is break is going to be like
That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called Select Quote. Select Quote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, Select Quote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call Select Quote at 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-743-8080. That's 1-800-743-8080.
Select Quote. We shop. You save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Evan, Kenzie, and Michelle are on Sportsline.
The Patriots are a team that could absolutely be a sneaky playoff team. You have an opportunity to capitalize on potentially having your young quarterback on a rookie deal and being the guy. You have a proven head coach who understands the culture and New England and Mike Vrabel. We like what they did in the draft. We like how aggressive they were in free agency. Oh, and by the way, they have the easiest schedule of any AFC team.
On Sportsline. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2. Earlier on Quentin and Friends.
Are we ready with the shot clock? Dylan in South Dakota, the shot clock is actually on. You're on the air.
In 07, Presti turns the Sonic cap space to future SGA and Vic, Domino and Rashard Lewis, Kurt Thomas, Serge Ibaka, Oladipo.
Oh, that's bad! Dylan
and Friends. Weekdays 10 to noon Eastern on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN.
Hey, Richmond, this is Joe Simpson. There's only one place in the 804 to stay up to date on all things Atlanta Braves, and that's 106.1 ESPN.
Fitz the Bill.
On the road. If you ever catch eyes with a guy next to you at a red light, you got to race him.
Welcome back in. Fitz the Bill on the road, rolling along, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm here live from the UVA practice facility in Charlottesville, Virginia. And we are joined now by Eric Ward, the assistant AD for marketing. Eric, thank you so much for taking some time out of your morning to chat with us.
Yeah, thanks for coming to Charlottesville. This is nice to have you here in the indoor facility.
Hey, look, it's just a quick hour trip down 64 West. Nothing too crazy. I did have to wake up a little earlier and hit the road a little earlier than normal, but nothing too bad. Nothing like driving into the mountains, not over the mountains,
That's right,
but
yeah.
into them on a nice Thursday morning.
Yeah.
So I do want to start here because I know there's some changes that have come. I've been getting your guys' advertising has been the targeted ads on social media hitting me hard.
Good.
And I'm not even a UVA grad or anything. I think I just Googled UVA once, and all of a sudden I'm getting these fan first ads.
Yep.
On social media. Can you walk us through the approach to ticketing this season, specifically with these fan first tickets that you guys have?
Yeah, we launched a football fan council this year that gave us a lot of great feedback. People from all over the Commonwealth, several out of state. People have various levels of affinity with UVA football. And one of the things that came out of that was a desire to create a easier access point for fans. We've charged things in the past very similar across the stadium, and depending on our VA priority, that gets you better seats. And the feedback we got was basically like, hey, let's leave some of the other areas of the stadium to a much less expensive ticket. Let's focus on some affordability options and get people in the stadium. And I think it's something we've talked about a lot in the last year or two, but it was really great to hear that feedback and implement it. And the results of that was several affordability initiatives that have gone extremely well so far.
That's awesome. And with all of that, like, an interesting part of the current state of college football that we're in and college sports is kind of the revenue side of it, where there are these schools now. We were talking Northwestern earlier about how they've got all of these suites and they're all about high ticket prices.
That's right. Yeah.
How do you guys weigh that between the luxury premium seating and the affordability while maximizing revenue so that at the end of the day you can field the best roster and things like that?
Right. Well, we're prioritizing both ends of that. And so another piece of that is that we're implementing several new premium seating options this year. Some of them are load seating in our 300 level. We're piloting this year that are essentially bar rail seats, small drink tables that have enhanced menu options, different alcohol options that you would not get in the stands. And those have been selling pretty well. We launched that just a couple weeks ago. We also have a cabana option this year that we're installing on the hill. And so fans will be able to buy that currently offered as a season basis, but it may open up to kind of a club type deal. And then outside the stadium, we're also offering premium tailgating opportunities. So if you don't have a parking spot adjacent to the stadium and you want maybe a full service tailgate option, you can do that. And so we focus obviously on the affordability side of it to get people in the building, but that's a side of it too that we're investing in to try to boost the revenue as well.
That's awesome. Eric Ward, Assistant AD for Marketing for UVA, joining us on this Thursday morning. You mentioned the Fan Council. That is an interesting. I don't think I've seen that, at least in any other Virginia schools, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Like, that is a very cool initiative. What was the thought process in starting a Fan Council?
I've been at Virginia for 3 years. It's something we've kicked around. Going into last season, we said, let's do this, regardless of how the season was going to play out. We wanted to actually put together this group of fans, and it's been super rewarding. We went to market in, I think, February looking for volunteers. We had hundreds of submissions that came in, former season ticket holders, current season ticket holders, people who've never had season tickets. We have people in their 20s, people in their 70s, people coming from Richmond, Tidewater, Southside, Southwest Virginia, out-of-staters. It's very commensurate with the overall fan base, and it's been really rewarding to hear the feedback directly. Obviously, there's been some tough feedback that we've heard, which is good. I mean, it's good opportunity for us to get better. But a lot of it has been prioritizing what they want to see on game days, and things that maybe we think are big problems. We talk to them and say, no, that's fine. Let's focus on some of these other things.
So you said kind of the affordability ticket, these fan first tickets came from the Fan Council. Has there been anything else that will be implemented this season that has come directly from the Fan Council?
Yeah, the tailgating, the premium tailgating was a big one. I think that several of them are loyal fans. They just don't have season tickets, coming from further away. And so they're looking for better tailgating opportunities. And so that was a result of that. A big piece they focused on was the overall communication around athletics. Maybe they like the things we're doing. They just don't feel that we're doing a good job communicating it out to the public. And so a great example of that, not for football, would be the show that's launching tonight for the basketball program with Coach at Improving Grounds. So looking for more and more in-depth opportunities, behind-the-scenes things that really build it, especially in this era where the rosters are changing much faster. Just what can we do more to communicate, who these guys are and what they're about here at UVA.
Is that pressure you feel like in the marketing department with the roster turnover happening? Do you feel that directly with when you're trying to sell the tickets?
No doubt. I'm in a group text with 13 or 14 buddies that are basically the me of schools all over the country, P4 schools, and we're all having the same thing where it's just crazy. We did our media shoot day 3 weeks ago, and I think it was 41 new players that we had that were in like the 2 deep or 3 deep. So it's different. I do think it'll stabilize a little bit with some of the changes that have come in place this summer, but the last couple of years, it has been insane how fast the roster's turnover. And I'm aware, when people say it's just different, right? You root for like our basketball program for so long, you see the players and you get to know them. And then we do a wholesale change this year. And maybe last year was much more of a wholesale change than they're used to. So I'm aware of that. And it is a pressure, but our fans have responded really well because we have focused a lot on the brand around Virginia, and our coaching staff has done a great job bringing players that would represent UVA in a great way.
Is there anything else coming change-wise to UVA football specifically this upcoming season outside of the premium tailgate, cabana, the enhanced seating and fan first tickets? I know that's a lot. So anything else?
Yeah,
but
so we have there's been definitely an investment on the concession side. It's an area that previously has been very, very bad. And I think has improved a little bit. I know fans wanted to improve more. The company that we've hired, so Airmark is the company that oversees concessions for UVA as an institution. We've invested in a completely separate institution within Airmark called Airmark S&E. They actually understand the sports space. They've put in some great changes this year, changing over vendors. We have a Chick-fil-A truck coming on board. There's several new things they're implementing to try to speed people through the lines a little bit better, quality ingredients, things like that. And really, we're investing a lot in our outside the stadium atmosphere. I mentioned the tailgates, but our Fan Fest, that's something that's going to be outdoors at O'Hill this year. People of all ages. We're going to pilot some things at the lacrosse Final Four in the spring that hopefully can give us a better idea of what to do outside of Scott Stadium. But a big focus for us is continuing to grow the footprint around game days to make it more of an atmosphere outside the stadium.
How big is it to be hosting the lacrosse Final Four?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, it is incredible. It's been over 20 years since it's been on a college campus, and it was a unique circumstance with the World Cup, and whoever had to back out of it, and we jumped all over it. If it was an opportunity for us to host it, I mean, our team traditionally is right there in it. We've been there, I think, 4 of the last 6 years. So I would love for us to be playing home games in Scott Stadium, sold out Scott Stadium for lacrosse. That would be pretty epic.
How big is it to host those types of unique events on campus? How important is it for the marketing side of it for the university?
Oh, it's great. And we work a lot with the Charlottesville Board of Tourism just on some of these things and what can we do to welcome folks into our community. But it's always incredible because the feedback we get, we see what other schools do too, and how people, if you go to Starkville or Gainesville or wherever for these postseason events, people come to Charlottesville and they feel like it is surprising almost, like how great it is here. And they love coming to our venues. We have a lot of really great venues that they come see their teams playing. But for our teams, that's what you build for. That's what you fight for every day. And when you get to play on your home grounds and your home turf, it's awesome. And an opportunity like lacrosse that is maybe a once in a lifetime sort of opportunity, we had to jump all over that. And it was really great that we were rewarded with that bid.
That is awesome. Excited for that. Excited for the upcoming football season and see all the new changes you guys have brought to Scott Stadium and hopefully get some wins in there and get even more excitement around UVA.
9 days away. We're almost there.
Almost there. Eric, thank you so much for your time. Have a great rest of your Thursday.
Appreciate you.
Of course, we're going to get a quick last break in here, a little mini break, and then we'll be back to wrap up Fitz the Bill on the Road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm.
Made something special in Richmond. 106.1 ESPN covers local high school football every week with your business along for the ride. Sponsor Hometown Heroes and show your support for the next generation of sports fans. 106.1 ESPN Richmond. Your home for local sports, loyal fans, and smart advertising. Contact us at 804-330-5700 or ESPN RBA at summitmediacorp.com.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
Can you spell Honolulu?
H-O-N-O, Lulu.
H-O-N-N-O-L-U-L-U.
There's a U in there, right?
H-O-N-A-L-U-L-U.
No, it's Chicano.
It is A. There is no A in this. You spelled it wrong.
Unsportsmanlike. Weekday morning starting at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
I don't think I could either.
Freddie and Harry.
If he's not there by opening day against the Philadelphia Eagles, they're going to trade Michael Parsons. They'll trade him probably for 2 number ones, maybe a 3rd round pick, or whatever they can get. If he's not there opening day playing football for the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys are going to do to him what happened to Will back. They're going to wind up trading him as all said and done. And then the Cowboy Nation will really crash out and dash out if that happens.
Check out more from Freddie and Harry weekdays at 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Fitz the Bill.
On the road.
Fitz the Bill on the Road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm. Schilling and Esposito personal injury attorneys. Check them out at schillingandesposito.com or give them a call, 804-320-0950. If you want a shot at $50,000 in cold hard cash, well, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports competition. Total prize pool, a massive $100,000. $50K of that goes to the winner. First place, you get it straight up. No ifs, ands, or buts. Think you've got the picks to survive 20 whole weeks? Prove it now. Join the NFL Survivor at bullrush.com/ESPN. All right. As we wrap things up here, Fitz the Bill on the road, live from the UVA football practice facility in Charlottesville, Virginia. I've got the high expectations are here. Great time talking with Ethan Minter and Andre Green Jr. I think, Alan, Chandler Morris is the secret sauce to this team. As Chandler Morris goes, at least this offense will go here in 2025. That's the big key. If he can stay healthy, if he can play like he did at North Texas, he's got the receivers, Trell Harris, Andre, Cam Ross. You guys got guys like that, Jamal Erdine. I like UVA's offense. I think they've got the potential to be a pretty solid offense here in the ACC in 2025.
Yeah, the positive to Chandler Morris as a quarterback is pretty much everywhere he's went. Has had prolific scoring. His tenure at TCU, he was part of some prolific scoring. Obviously, that system down there with Sonny Dykes is open to that. And in North Texas, again, prolific scoring down there. And they had a great system as well. We've seen Coach Elliott have a prolific system before. It was just with some of the best quarterbacking that we've ever seen in the country, or some of the best quarterbacking we've ever seen in the country. But this is talent that you can work with, talent that can put the ball in the end zone. And I agree with you. If he can play anywhere near the level that he played at North Texas and stay healthy while doing it, this team should be on the upward trajectory.
And I was just talking with Eric Ward about this as he was leaving. The home schedule lines up really nicely for UVA this year. Home against Coastal, home against William & Mary, Stanford, Florida State, Washington State, Wake Forest, and Virginia Tech. That right there gives you an opportunity to become bowl eligible just from your home games this season. Yeah, and that lines up so nice for you.
Yeah, and like we talked about before, you got to win the games you're supposed to win. And there's a lot of games there at home that they're supposed to win. There's a lot of momentum building that you can do with this schedule as well. And in their case, there's not any of that crazy. I think there's 1 week when they go from UNC over the Cal. That's about it. Like there's not a lot of crazy travel involved in their schedule as well. Look, you home against Wake Forest, and then you travel to Duke, and you're back home against Virginia Tech
after a bye week.
Yeah, those bus rides. So it's definitely shaped up well. And this isn't us just hyping it up. This is an optimistic season for this team.
Yeah, and that's why there are these high hopes. And if they don't meet the expectations, things could get a little dicey in Charlotte.
You can't say it could be right. They don't meet expectations. Things are on the horizon for sure.
Yes, it would happen. Like if they do not make a bowl, then the expectations need to be met in Charlottesville. But they've got the games at home to do it. And then the thing is, they've been a solid team on the road over the last 2 years. If you're a bettor, 9-2 against the spread on the road the last 2 years. Their only losses came last season against Maryland and Virginia Tech.
Yeah, but they in the last couple of years they could go to Louisville and whip them and then have a home game against Washington State and lose by 20. They got to stop doing that.
Yeah, you just gotta find that consistency. All right, that'll do it for Fitz the Bill on the road, presented by Schilling and Esposito Law Firm, live from Charlottesville, Virginia, here from the UVA football practice facility. Appreciate UVA for welcoming us in this morning. It's been a fantastic time. Next week, we'll go on the road with ODU. We'll go on the road with Virginia Tech, so you do not want to miss it. Tomorrow, we're live from Shula's Steakhouse. We've got some special guests dropping in. We are super excited for that. We got Eric Harris, head coach of Thomas Jefferson, joining as well. So much to come tomorrow. Fitz the Bill.
From the Bull Rush ESPN studio. Learn more.
You want a shot at $50,000 in cold, hard cash? Well, Bull Rush just dropped a new sports comp, the NFL Survivor. And the total prize pool, a massive $100,000. First place gets $50,000 straight up. Think you got the picks to survive 20 weeks?
Join now at bullrush.com/ESPN.